Hi, my name is Charlie Kaufman, and this is my presentation about water scarcity and drought. First of all, what does this mean? A drought is caused by a lack of precipitation over time, usually meaning that there was like a below average amount of rainfall for a certain amount of time as well. Water scarcity, on the other hand, is what we determine when we realize that there's not enough water supply for us to properly survive and thrive. Why is this important? Because by the year of 2050, the world's population is expected to reach nearly 10 billion people. So we have to worry about rising global temperatures, shrinking freshwater, and increasing food demands. And then water scarcity and droughts will end up being one of the most serious agricultural issues all over the world. Agriculture does use almost 70% of the world's fresh water, so we do need to try and find a way to make sustainable water use essential for food security and survival. Ethical orientation that's in support of this is utilitarianism. This is an ethical framework that very strongly goes to the issue or relates to this issue because it focuses on the actions that are meant to create the most amount of good for the most amount of people. Obviously, we all know that by now. This relates to the subject because we have to use water in ways that will benefit the most amount of people and continue to protect our future generations while still getting what we need right now. There's an ethical obligation by corporations and governments to prioritize creating sustainable water systems and using them even just for a short time profits to make sure that food security is not a long-term issue. Period. Oh, sorry. An ethical orientation rejecting economic egoism. Economic egoism is where we prioritize something that's a profit for a smaller amount of people than what would be best for the general public, which is utilitarianism. So the economic egoism in this is that these strict regulations and investments are being seen as harmful because they are increasing the cost for farmers and corporations. Personally, obviously, I agree with the utilitarian ethical orientation because I think that water is an everyday basic need and it should be available to everyone. The concept of water scarcity directly impacts the food that we all eat, the prices that we're all paying, and the stability of farming communities. So I think that it's important that the reduction of food waste is prioritized and that we are also choosing products that conserve water so that this has the best benefit for everyone and the most amount of people and the environment, not just the people profiting off of it. Global, national, and local impacts is what I'll get into next. Globally, water scarcity is threatening the crop production and livestock health as well as food availability. A lot of developing regions are already struggling with issues like poverty and hunger, so droughts only cause much larger scales of crop failure, which is a really big deal, meaning that food prices are increasing dramatically, especially in places that are overpopulated, like where we are, or like California. That's why prices go up all the time as well. And then nationally, countries like the US are facing a lot of reduced agricultural output and rising food costs for consumers as well. And then locally, the drought is impacting farmers, the drought is impacting farmers' ability to irrigate crops and remain financially stable and maintain their livestock, leading to the western states eventually having limited water supplies, which we all kind of already know might happen as well. And then the key players for change are that in addressing water scarcity, government agencies, scientists, farmers, agricultural corporations, and consumers they should all be having a part in it. The farmers should try to start adopting techniques that save water, like drip irrigation and drought-resistant crops. It's also really important that governments try to start enforcing water conservation policies instead of just talking about it. For scientists and researchers, they must continue to do what they're already doing, which is just developing efficient technology for farming. And then to add on to the governments, they should also try and invest in the infrastructure rather than just talking about it as well, because then something will actually happen. And then agricultural corporations need to commit to the sustainable production 100% of the time, or as much as possible, to also contribute. And then lastly, consumers need to try their best as well to reduce their food waste, like I already said, and use products that are sustainable and support these environmental goals so that we all have a great future. The pros are this is protecting long-term food security, preserving fresh water for future generations, and reducing crop failure. And the cons are that the water restrictions may limit farm production. The cost of new irrigation systems are very high, and to buy and to maintain. And then a lot more government regulations on agriculture and farming. Some people see that as a pro and some people see that as a con. So I just put that in the cons just in case. For these photos that are on here, the one on the left is obviously just like a drought. It's like the desert floor cracking because it's so dry. The one in the middle is it says there, the U.S. Drought Monitor, and all the colors on the side mean different stages of the drought. And typically, or at least when I grew up there, California was always in like a gnarly drought. And in Southern California as well, where that like red area is. So it's interesting to see. Obviously, this was a long time ago now, 2021. But it's interesting to see the differences between the states. And then on the far right was one of the rivers. Over time it was drying up, right? From 2021, and 2022. The biggest jump obviously being in those 21 years, but then a significant jump in that 1 year showing that something is happening. And then last but not least, here's my bibliography. Also, I apologize for all the borders on these having stuff on the sides. It was the only way that I could fit the whole slide in. But here is the 4 main sources that I used. And then I wanted to open it up for questions.
Hi, Charlie. I just wanted to ask you, why did you choose that picture on the right?
Thanks for asking. I actually chose that picture because I wanted to show how big of a difference can be made in such a huge time, but also in such a small amount of time. I grew up in a household that was very focused on water conservation and stuff because my dad's always been working in that field. So it's really important to me to show people that it doesn't just happen over time, it can also happen in the span of a year.
That's very good to know. Thank you for giving that example to us. My next question is, what are you personally going to do to help contribute to the solution for this?
Well, because of how I grew up, I'm already very hyper aware about turning off the sinks when I'm not using it, or only running the dishwasher when it's full, or same thing with the washing machine, or turning off the shower and stuff like that. But something on a little bit larger scale that I want to try for myself and see if I'm able to keep it up is looking up what I'm buying from the store before I buy it and take it home, so that I know if that place that I'm supporting and buying from is actually helping the environment or if I am contributing to the hurt.
That's a great idea. Maybe I'll try for myself. My third question is, do you think anyone will actually do anything in the near future that's significant to contribute to this issue?
Unfortunately, I think it's hard to see a big change in such a small amount of time, as obviously the drought has been an issue for a long time and it will be an issue for an even longer time. So I just think that everyone doing their part is going to help us see results faster, and that's what's important right now. So I recommend everyone to go and try and do their part as well, even if it's just a small thing every day, or making sure that you turn off the shower or don't leave it running for too long before you get in, and only run the dishwasher when it's full. But everyone needs to help make contributions because we don't really see the bigger picture ones every single day.